When you're starting or growing your apparel decorating business, it's important to have a proper understanding of costs so you can set selling price and make profit margin. In this video, we're going to dive into one of those hidden elements of cost that a lot of small apparel decorators miss and don't calculate at all, and that can cause an issue. It's called overhead. Before we get to how to calculate overhead and apply the cost to every cost calculation and every sale, first let's talk about the overall cost equation. In order to accurately calculate costs, you need to know your direct costs first. This is everything that goes into making of the physical product of the decorated t-shirt. So it's very easy to understand that's the cost of the t-shirt itself, as well as the cost of the transfer, but those direct costs also include the cost of your labor that goes into manufacturing. Those direct labor costs need to be calculated with every job, and it's very easy to add the labor to the cost of materials and get that component. Now, the third element that you want to make sure you add to your direct costs is overhead. We also refer to these as indirect costs. Indirect costs can be things such as your lease payment or the space that you're taking up in your residence if it's a home business. It could also include your utilities and also any of your labor that doesn't go into manufacturing. So that would be your sales expense, perhaps your marketing expense, your marketing dollars. There is a huge list we can come up with of things that fall into this bucket of indirect costs. And so if you don't include these in your cost calculation, you'll find that you think you're making money, but at the end of the month or the end of the year in the bank, you don't have as much as you thought you made because it's going out the door in the form of overhead. So let's demystify calculating overhead for you and give you a simple formula. You will have to do some work, and so here's what you need to do. I want you to take a typical period of time in your business. And you need to have some good bookkeeping to be able to do this. If that time period can be a year because you have great bookkeeping, great. But if you don't have great records, start with a month that's a typical month. What I want you to do is take all of those direct costs, remember the labor, the materials, the transfers, everything that goes into making the thing over that time period. And so let's say we're going to calculate for the month of August all of our direct costs because that's a typical month. And we add all of that up and we get one big number. We're going to say that number is $15,000. Now, over that same exact time period, create another bucket of expense that's all your indirect costs. Again, that would be everything that we covered, including your lease payment, your marketing expense, et cetera, your utilities, all over that period of time. Let's say for that same period of time, that expense is $3,000. Now, in order to calculate overhead, we take those numbers, we take the indirect costs and divide those by the direct costs. And so 3,000 divided by 15,000 equals 0.2 or 20%. That is an overhead rate now that we've established for our business that we can apply to every cost analysis. So jumping back, now let's figure out how to take that 20% and factor it into every sale. What we'll do is we'll take all of our direct costs for making that t-shirt. Let's say on this particular job, the cost of the transfer is $2, the cost of the t-shirt is $2, and the cost of the labor to put them together and make it is $1. So we have $5 in our direct cost bucket. Now, what I want to do is I want to take that $5 in direct costs and I'm going to multiply it by my overhead rate of 20%. So $5 multiplied by 20% equals $1. And so I'm going to apply $1 in overhead to each t-shirt that I'm making for that particular job. So take that $5, again, your direct cost. Let's now add the overhead that we've calculated, which is a factor on our direct costs of 20% or $1, and I have a total cost to make this job of $6. Now, this is an easy example on a $5 item, but as you get into more expensive items like jackets and bags and headwear, you'll notice that if we're not factoring in overhead, we're going to be losing a lot of money and leaving a lot of money on the table. And that means we won't be able to really analyze our overhead in our business and make sure it's creating value for our customers, value in our product offer. Yes, we all want to have our own retail space. We all want to have our own manufacturing facility. We'd love to have great sales teams and invest a ton into marketing. But we need to make sure we run a lean business, contain our overhead, calculate it so we can be profitable at the end of the day. Hopefully this gives you an idea on how to demystify the cost calculation, get to a true manufacturing cost so you can price your products and make money. Thanks for watching.